Up on the Mars, though.
And we're back with another episode of Buzz and Tuz. We're here with you on this beautiful Tuesday to give you all the things you need to know for the rest of the week.
Yeah, or just let you know on things we've been autistically thinking about.
Little did you know that literally all you have to ingest is the Bones and Tubs podcast, and you probably get everything that you need to know throughout the week. If you didn't notice already, I'm currently going through it with, once again, another ailment. I can't seem to shake these this year, so you're going to have to deal with a very nasally Tubs today.
Sinus Valley. Gotta love it.
Yes, indeed. Gotta love it.
More reason to move coastal.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but we're here today. We got some stuff we're going to talk about. You know, you got the normal stuff going on in the news. You got Israel and Palestine shooting rockets at each other again.
Yeah.
As per usual.
That's fine.
The new baby of England is born, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's right. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well,
pretty sure we fought a war to get out of, like,
tell you
fuck what
the
royal family
does. Shit. Satanists. But now we're here with you today. We're going to talk about our big topic today before we get started is going to be about Captain Kaye.
Captain Kaye.
The supposed...
Before Space Force was Space Force.
Yeah, basically, like Trump talked about having a Space Force, but apparently, according to some experts, it already happened.
A long time ago.
Yeah. And we're living out our fucking people are living out their Star Wars fantasies as we speak.
I'm over here reading a fucking article on Vice about an intro to figging, which is where you put ginger in your butt. So I should probably switch over to the right tab.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, somebody sent that to me in Messenger earlier. Anyway.
Wait. Why would people put ginger in their butt?
Why do people do anything they do?
Well, see, here's the thing.
It's probably not as bad or strange as like a gerbil, right?
Well, see, you know, most people, without knowing it, are Epicurus. Mm-hmm. They do things that give them pleasure, right?
Yeah.
They avoid things that don't give them pleasure. But putting ginger in your butt sounds like something unpleasant.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
Like, who thought that would be a good idea? Like, hey, ginger, although I love the taste of it, it's potent.
Your butt doesn't have a tongue, though.
Yeah, but butt has nerve endings, and that's enough.
It's very spicy.
Yeah.
The health trendies almost got me with coffee enemas. Touted the health benefits of that. But I still haven't done it. It's very exit only down there.
Stay out of my swamp.
Stay out of my swamp.
Teach their own, I guess.
This is why we'll never be able to go, like, full mainstream with people that we have currently working on Mars. Because people down here are still putting fucking root herbs into their butts.
Or, like, I saw the other day, space alien dildos that plant eggs inside you.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not here to kink shame, I guess. I mean, I kind of am.
Let's put it this way, though. If someone was running for public office and they revealed that they were into figging or planting fake alien eggs in their ass, that might deter me from voting for them. Call me shallow, if you will. That's just how I feel about it.
I get it.
Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's bad today. I think today is probably the worst day I'm going to have with this cold.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully tomorrow. I took a double dose of NyQuil last night and probably almost died. But I wouldn't have known it, you know.
You would have just woken up at the clearing at the end of the path.
Exactly. You know, I'd have been like, everything's cool now. I'm not sick anymore. Here's all my dead pets that are waiting for me.
Yeah. Mr. Freckles, I missed you, you know?
Yeah. I wish I had a Mr. Freckles.
It's not too late.
The next cat's going to be Mr. Freckles. Actually, no, scratch that. I did have a dog named Freckles.
Did you?
It was a dog. Not Mr. Freckles, but, I mean, I guess you could have called him Mr. Freckles.
Was it a he?
He was he. He was,
there we go, Mr. Freckles.
I was a liar. I did have a Mr. Freckles, but he was like a random dog that showed up at my grandma's farm that we kind of took in and we kept it for a while, but he was too goddamn stupid and wild. He was a Dalmatian. And he was also deaf.
Deaf?
Yeah, like a lot of Dalmatians are, right? And let me tell you something. He was goddamn stupid. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you know, most animals know not to shit where they eat. But he used to lay down fucking giant fucking coiled piles right next to where he ate his food.
Some humans don't even know how to do that.
You're right, but still, like most animals know, don't shit upstream.
Don't do it. It's
from where you drink.
It's not a good look, dog.
But nah, he was Dalmatian, not the best Dalmatian I ever knew. He was a little bit wild.
Yeah.
But his name was Freckles. He ended up living with other Dalmatians eventually.
Mm.
So, good for him. Good for Mr. Freckles.
100 of them, you know.
Yeah. I wonder if St. Catherine still listens. She'll remember Freckles.
I don't know. I feel like we pushed her off the reservation.
I don't know. She hasn't mentioned it in a while.
We haven't burned the candle in a long time, so she probably forgot.
So apparently we've forgotten the face of our patron saint.
I know. Maybe that's where we lost our way.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, but regardless, we went way off the fucking track there for a minute.
That's what we do, though. We just had to get it out of the way now.
Yeah. You know, from the right light and angle, we know you kids at home can't see this. I keep thinking your hat is pink.
Might be the hat, might be the shirt.
It looks like a soft pink, like from here.
Yeah.
And it's throwing me the fuck off because I keep looking over and seeing you in a pink hat. But
yeah.
I know, I'm pretty sure it's a gray hat, right?
It's gray. Yeah.
But it's kind of got that suede material, so it catches the light.
This shirt, though, has a lot of pink in it. It's a tie-dye shirt with a cat riding a unicorn cat.
That hat looks pink from this angle, though. I am colorblind also, too.
The tie-dye is strong in this shirt.
Yeah.
You know? Bougie.
It's just throwing me because I see the pink hat and I keep thinking Yang Gang over and over again because that is one of the symbols of Yang Gang 2020.
Yeah, I've been burning down all the group chats with Yang Gang 2020.
Did you like that meme?
Oh, yeah. It was funny.
The Virgin President and the Chad Yang. Has anything else been going on in the news that we would touch on?
Just World War III shit, you know? It's not that big of a deal. Fucking do it or don't do it. You know, we got to...
Oh, shit, yeah. I forgot. Don't we have, like, some sort of fucking Air Force fucking, like, unit of fucking planes, like, on standby next to Iran, ready to fucking...
Yeah, that, and then they're talking crazy about possible military intervention in Venezuela if Maduro doesn't step down.
Oh, my God.
That just came out this morning, and then I saw something else.
You know,
I don't
here's
remember.
The thing.
I just don't pay attention to it anymore.
A part of me believes we, in part, at least deserve the fucking invasion of fucking Latin Americans that are flooding our borders because of all the fuck shit our government has done. But here's the problem. It was our government that did it, and we're going to be the ones made to suffer for it. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, they do what they do in our name with our consent.
Yeah.
Because we pay them. Mm-hmm. So, in turn, the karma ultimately comes back to us.
They have a good system set up.
Because if we said, we're not paying you anymore, we don't agree with this, we're not giving you money, and we do not advocate what you're doing, then we could start the karmic cycle that continues to hurt us.
Do you think that that's set up that way for that purpose?
Yeah, I think it is. It said that's kind of how they do everything. It's the same principle for how they're able to commit atrocities to us because they told us that they were going to. Mm-hmm. You know, we've talked about this before. They just told us in a language we simply could not understand.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. The knowledge to know that language has always been there.
Yeah.
So
for those to look and see it.
Exactly. It's kind of like, did you ever see that movie Cabin in the Woods?
Yes.
Okay. And the whole principle is they're making these sacrifices to these ancient gods, right? But the thing is they have to do it by their own accord. And they had to have been warned not to do what they were going to do. It's because they had that guy at the gas station that's like, you don't go back there, you sinners, you're going to get killed, and da-da-da. They got warned, but they still went. And it's the same principle for how they operate things in the U.S. government.
Yeah.
They tell us full well what they plan on doing.
Y'all don't listen, dog.
Like, here's the thing. If I tell you, I'm going to slap you in the face.
Come here.
And then I slap you in the face, there is no karmic reverberation for that. You know why? Because I told you I was going to do it. And you did nothing to stop me from doing it.
I just let it happen.
Yeah. You could have prevented it. Now, there are cases when that's not necessarily the principle. You know, you can't do that to a child. Say, I'm going to slap you in the face because there's really nothing they can do about it in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there would be a cosmic rebound from doing something like that.
Right. I don't know.
But if you look at the U.S. population as a whole, we are a much larger entity than the government is.
Not to pull into the most recent Game of Thrones episode, but when they talk about the realm, you know, they're arguing back and forth about how most of the people don't even care who sits on the throne. I feel like that's
Did
true.
you watch the rest of that episode?
Yeah, I watched it all.
Listen, okay, spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
Skip ahead about 3 or 4 minutes because we're just going to fucking talk about it. I told you we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Like, and they said it in earlier seasons too, where they're like, basically like, they don't care who sits on that fucking throne as long as the fucking summers are long and they have food on their tables and they're fucking happy.
Yeah.
They could give a shit else who's on that throne.
Well, they've never had rebellion when people weren't hungry, you know?
Yeah.
It's true.
Because
cross-platform.
In that sense, it's the actions speak louder than words principle.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the actions of the leaders have... doesn't matter what their words are, or what they say, or what their names are.
Yeah.
If their actions reciprocate the people and help them, they don't care what word they have to say.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like with people who are big supporters of Trump, why he can pretty much say all the vile shit that he says. He's a fucking idiot, right? But we're seeing unemployment at a fucking 50-year low.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing the wage per hour up dramatically.
Yeah.
We're in an economic boom. Like Warren Buffett's saying that this is unprecedented. And he's claiming that there's nobody that you can say helped do this, right? He's like, it's just an anomaly. He's like, it's going to... Yeah. Well, of course, they don't want to give credit to anybody.
Yeah.
But the thing is like... But in this weird, wacky world, we're in fucking cloud world, mirror world, words speak louder than actions for some people. So it doesn't matter how good things get for the common folk. Some people, it doesn't matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
Shucky darns, I'm so mad I make $25 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm able to fucking afford my housing and my health care and all that shit. Like, grr, the president said mean things.
Yeah. Autistic screeching.
Yeah, totally. So that's the part, like, because we've been led to that point. Because here's the thing, like, Congress has been completely, as far as I'm concerned, inactive for fucking years. They've done jack shit.
Yeah. Well, even before this president.
Yeah, it's not something that's just exclusive to this president.
It's all theater. They're always in gridlock.
They have done zero.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, most of the legislation that has affected our daily lives has not come from them. It has either come through executive action or judicial review from the Supreme Court. Like, you think about, like, gays getting married. Or, like, you know, like them opening up marriage to same-sex couples and all that shit.
Yeah.
That was no legislation on Congress's part. That was not the president's decision. The Supreme Court decided that.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's probably one of the biggest things, like, in recent history that have happened to us that affects our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really affect my life, but it affects people I know's lives.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're useless. They're absolutely useless. They're show.
Yeah. We need to just get rid of them, for real. We should all vote online. If we can bank online, you can vote online.
Are you talking about my Vox Populi idea?
Something like that. That, assassination politics, online voting for all order, you know?
Well, in my perfect world, the House of Representatives has outgrown its uses. I think we still have a need for a Senate to avoid knee-jerk reactions, but replace the House of Representatives with what you said, an electronic voting system that allows the people to decide if they want to push legislation. And like I said, I think the Senate still needs to be something as kind of a stalwart against mob rule.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
You can always give it a shot. I mean, it's better than this abortion we got going on now.
Yeah, overpaid, overbloated motherfuckers. It's either that or fucking set term limits for Congress.
That should have been done.
Oh, yeah.
So silly. Just like I said the other day, I pretty much put all this political shit into the milk category. I have a hard time with it. I've just seen so many things so many times about different things with either war or what Congress is doing, and it's just all bullshit.
Well, yeah.
So do it or don't do it. You know what I mean? I don't have time. We have a finite time in this plane, you know?
Humans.
So why would we keep going down the same dead-end rabbit hole?
Yeah, humans are political animals.
There's too many questions to be asked and answered and to just sit in these fucking repetitive cycles.
Well, that's the other thing, though. It's that those are there for a reason so that we aren't focusing on the great work, you know?
Yeah. I'd like to get into this article whenever you're ready.
Do it.
This is, I did not send you this one. I sent you the interview with Clyde Lewis. I believe that was from July 2nd, 2014.
It was good.
If anybody wants to check that out. It's very hard to find. You have to Google it. It's on SoundCloud. YouTube's taking it down. It's not on Podbean. And those are the only ones I checked.
Yeah, because I tried looking for it on my own. I couldn't find it anywhere until you sent me that SoundCloud.
And if you YouTube search, I thought all you'd have to do is type in Captain K, Clyde Lewis, or Captain K, Mars, or Captain K interview. It just kept bringing up things that had nothing to do with it. And I love those type of stories. The ones that you can tell the algorithm is adamantly fighting against you finding.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you could find it on there on SoundCloud if you Google Clyde Lewis, Captain K, Mars interview. But this article is from exopolitics.org. I'd like to read it.
Read it.
Written by Dr. Michael Sala on April 8th, 2014. A new whistleblower has come forward to claim that he spent 17 years on Mars serving at a secret military base whose main mission was to protect 5 civilian space colonies. In exclusive testimony released today on Exo News TV, once again that would be April 8th, 2014 when he says today, the whistleblower, who uses the pseudonym Captain K, K-A-Y-E, said that the Mars Defense Force recruits personnel from different military services. He claims that he was recruited from a covert branch of the U.S. Marine Corps called Special Section. Captain K's testimony reveals that the main human colony on Mars is called Ares Prime, which is located inside a crater. Ares Prime serves as the headquarters for the Mars Colony Corporation. According to Captain K, the air is breathable on the surface of Mars and the temperature could be warm at times. He claims that there are 2 indigenous species on Mars, both of which are highly intelligent. One of these was a reptilian species that was very aggressive in defending its territory. The other was an insectoid species which is equally capable of protecting its territory. He said that the indigenous Martians are not particularly interested in expanding their territory, only maintaining it. Captain K said that as long as the Mars Defense Force and Mars Colony Corporation did not encroach on the territory of the indigenous Martians, there would be a stable relationship. After serving 17 years of a 20-year tour of duty, events changed dramatically when virtually all combat personnel from the Mars Defense Force were asked to retrieve an extraterrestrial artifact from a cave sacred to the indigenous reptilians. Captain K described how over 1,000 men and women were killed by a subsequent battle, and only 28 of his colleagues, including himself, survived. Captain K is currently seeking documents to verify his incredible experiences, and for now offers his testimony as evidence of a breakaway human civilization based on Mars. Parts of his testimony are consistent with the claims of other whistleblowers who have previously come forward to reveal secrets about Mars. Michael Relf, for example, claims he also was recruited for a 20-year tour of duty that involved covert operations on Mars. Also, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, the great-granddaughter of President Eisenhower, claims that covert efforts were made to recruit her to join a colony on Mars that was headed by a famed physicist, Dr. Hal Puthoff. Finally, Captain Case claims that Mars has a breathable atmosphere supported by a number of NASA images, revealing small animals on the surface. Which I don't know if you've seen those or not. Those are crazy.
Yeah.
They even had some from that they took down from the Mars rover footage. And then there's a link for the audio interview with Captain K. So I'll post that up on the Bones and Tubs Facebook page.
But now,
so check it out.
Some things that intrigue me about the interview. Mm-hmm. Well, before he started with Captain K, he...
Gary McKinnon?
Yeah. He was citing... Yeah, the whole Gary McKinnon thing. That's where it started, right? So basically... It starts with Gary McKenna. Gary McKenna was a civilian out of... Was it Indiana?
I think so.
We've talked about him on the show before.
Yeah, we did a show together, I think, and then I did one of the Bones in between episodes when you were on vacation.
Gary McKenna hacked into... It was NASA, right?
Yeah, he wasn't from... I think he was from England, right?
Well, he was the first person charged under the Espionage Act that was started after 9/11.
For some reason, I thought he was over in England fighting extradition. Maybe
he might. Okay,
anyway, who knows? But yes, he hacked NASA.
But he uncovered documents involving ships, U.S. ships that nobody had ever heard of before.
Yeah,
and he even like looked them up to see if they were extant ships, but they weren't. Like according to public record.
Yeah.
One of the things I found interesting he talked about too was that soundbite from Buzz Aldrin talking about how there's a monolith on Phobos. Moon of Mars.
The potato-shaped moon of Mars that no one wants to talk about.
And how Buzz Aldrin went on the record and was like, saying he's like, the universe created this monolith. Or quote-unquote, or if you want to believe it, God created this. But like, a lot of the like things you hear them talking about the way they describe it, stuff like that, like even slipping up and saying they've been to Mars.
Well, the guy that he interviewed after that was talking about how he didn't agree with Buzz Aldrin on this or that, and he's like, Buzz Aldrin just wants to go back to Mars.
Yeah.
Like, you just said he wants to go back to Mars.
Yeah.
As if you just accidentally admitted that he's already been there.
Exactly.
Shut your mouth.
You know, this would kind of tie in, because as I was listening to this, I kept thinking about how they said that we first went to Mars in 1962. And I think Bill Cooper was part of that, saying that too.
Yeah.
That we had already been there.
What's interesting about that is that the people that are bringing you this information, William Cooper's been killed. They tried to kill him 3 times. They failed the first 2. They succeeded on the 3rd try. And Clyde Lewis, who, as far as I know, is the only person aside from Exopolitics to ever get an interview with Captain Kaye, they attempted to kill him at some type of a Comic-Con or something. Huh. Random person came up to him and, like, shook his hand. And he was like, let this be a warning. And he's like, that's fucking weird. So then later on, he had a fucking stroke. Huh. And he thinks whatever it was in a dude's hand that he fucking shook.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the quality of the content coming to you from people who have had direct dealings with the state on the covert side.
Well, it's like I was listening to something, or maybe we were talking about it. The notion that there was this patent for a gun from the CIA that was made of, like, the munition was made of ice.
Yeah.
So that it wouldn't be traceable.
Yeah, we watched we were talking about it a while ago. We saw the C-SPAN interview or something that they had aired where the guy was talking about it.
And that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine where they've gone with it from then.
Mm-hmm.
But they talked about how, I think he said there was 53 alien species we had made contact with already.
Yeah.
My biggest question, though, is, and I don't know, maybe they kind of alluded to it later on in the interview, why would they keep all this from us?
Any number of reasons, I feel like. I mean, to prevent catastrophe and chaos.
I mean, it would pretty much...
Think about the psychological effect that it has on the masses that don't believe in a creator or don't believe in anything else. So they just think we're an accident out here floating in an infinite space. Makes you feel minuscule and unimportant.
See, I go in the opposite. I feel like it would affect religious people more.
I think it would do both, though. I think there's some power to be gained in saying that you are the only thing, you're insignificant creatures, there's nothing else out there, this is an accident.
Yeah.
So I think that it would be harmful both ways. I think it would affect religion, I think it would affect science.
Because, I mean, theoretically, Jesus couldn't be the Messiah for all species and all planets. And he was just born on Earth.
Wouldn't it fuck you up if you found, like, a Methodist church on Mars?
That'd be fucking wild.
What would you do? Would you go back to the Methodist church?
So, yeah, something tells me now, man, that, like, I imagine if it happened, you would have, like, fucking Jesuits going out into space trying to convert people to Catholicism.
Listen, man, yeah, I mean, that dude just died last summer, wasn't it? Trying to convert, like, natives so that hadn't had human contact. I guarantee people are out there going to be preaching the space word.
Makes me think of, there's an episode of South Park that reminds me of, where Starvin' Marvin... an alien crashes in Ethiopia, and Starvin' Marvin commandeers the spaceship, and he flies to this other planet that's, like, abundant with life and has plenty of room for his people to, like, grow and be well. And, like, when, like, Sally Struthers and, I think it's supposed to be, like, Pat Robertson find out about it, they keep trying to get money from their fucking listeners to build a new spacecraft so that they could go convert the Mark Larks to fucking Christianity.
Yeah, could definitely see it. There's somebody out there. I mean, the Catholic Church, the reason why they say they have that telescope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The huge, like, I think it might be the most powerful telescope in the world, one of them. And they're searching for something. Right. Some interviews that the church bishops have given, they're talking about, like, well, we want to be able to convert these aliens. Shut the fuck up. But
it's
anyway,
just wild.
I also thought it was interesting that somebody challenged Captain Kaye. They've talked shit about him pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people that I listened to talk shit about him, he was responded to by Captain Kaye. He's like, look, man, if anything I'm saying isn't true, they could lock me up. Because it's him committing, what is it, the felony, the falsifying something to do with military service. He's like, all of my things as far as years of service are public. He's like, I challenged them to tell me otherwise.
Huh.
So they had people verify that he, like, was a part of this group They don't know where or when, but it shows like years of service. So that was another interesting little thread.
Yeah.
But so much has changed. I feel like we were talking the other day on the way into the Factory of Sadness about the seeming preparation that's going down on a nationwide or worldwide scale of coming disclosure.
Yeah.
Whether or not that has to do with, real aliens or Project Bluebeam or the Book of Enoch, fallen angels, who knows? A
lot of it made me think of, when I was listening to this, made me think of things we talked about before involving like Antarctica and Nazi research and stuff like that, and how like NASA is a part of all this, and we know for a fact NASA is a big Project Paperclip fucking whistle for a lot of people. Like it just
giant Project Paperclip magnet.
Yeah. And that these Nazis got way further under the guise they were working for the U.S. government, but maybe they never gave up their allegiances.
I'm sure they did. They did what they had to do.
We talked about Werner von Braun. We did a whole episode on Werner von Braun.
Yes, we did.
And how like he for years like, oh, I wasn't really Nazi, but then like people came out of the woodwork and were like,
yeah, the fuck you were,
bitch, you were wearing that uniform every day.
You loved it.
You were also fucking abusing inmate prisoners who were working on your fucking rockets for you,
whistling while you worked too.
Yeah,
you fucking douchebag,
little bitch. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I just like those whole interviews and everything. I found them all fascinating. Now, do I I don't know, man. It seems too like fucking
fanciful.
Yeah, because like I'm a big fan of science fiction.
Yeah,
and it sounds a lot like science fiction. But then again, if you had to go explain to somebody who lived in 1900 all the technology we have now, to them it would sound preposterous.
Mm-hmm.
Wireless tech. Cell phones.
It's all witchcraft at one time or another.
Exactly.
What's crazy to me is like we had the technology supposedly. So you know that weird, strange, that strange duality that my brain has, where I entertain several ideas at the same time as being true, and I have a hard time believing like we've gone into space at all past low Earth orbit.
See, that's the other thing is if you're into that camp,
yeah,
this is fiction.
They just acted like. Not that long ago, they were like, "Oh, well, we can't get past the Van radiation belt. We can't get to Mars. That's our biggest hurdle." And then we're like, "Well, how the fuck did you get to the moon then?"
Yeah.
So it just seems like, on one hand, you can't even have left the Earth, and on the other hand, it seems convincing that we have colonies of spaceships and space marines and shit like that already out there.
It's a duality thing.
Yeah, I mean, I see the two ends. The polarity is real.
Yeah,
but what do I do?
Not much you can do about it.
Go crazy?
Until it gets disclosed.
Yeah.
What's really going on,
There's a lot of really good disclosure things coming, I feel like. What they're going to use them for, I don't know.
It'll be, when they release things, it's always politically motivated.
Further the power of the state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if they'll use it, it's kind of their last resort to avoid some sort of, worldwide catastrophe with, nuclear war or something. Like, oh shit, there was aliens all along.
Well, they've been trying to use the space threat since Reagan to say that that's the only way we could get everybody on board with the world government. So I mean, if they wanted to end petty nation states, squabbles, and
here's the thing though,
pesky freedom,
to an extent. Now the whole freedom thing, I mean, that's probably true. But here's the thing about that is that. When they say, if we found out there was other life out there, right? They're not lying. I have a firm belief that we would unite collectively as a people, as a species, because we realized we weren't alone now.
Yeah.
We weren't just a bunch of savages fighting on a rock against each other. There was other people out there, and we had to understand. And of course,
we have to come together to take their shit.
Well, see, yeah, that's the thing. The human mind, we are distrustful of others, and as far as I'm concerned, extraterrestrials are
at that point they are the others.
They're the true others.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Pretty soon we're gonna have separate bathrooms, separate drinking fountains. It's gonna be segregation all over again.
I mean, skin color will seem so insignificant up against the notion there's an entire different species that aren't us, that might think like us.
What if the craziest of these things is true, and maybe not so much they live with Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
But maybe they just infiltrated us to be a part of us, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out, in your 40s that you were married to one of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm also a male. So you're
But then again, you know, I don't know, it's not even a duality. I guess I don't know what to call it, truality. Because there's 3 theories I have in my head.
Yeah.
You know, the notion that we have already seen them.
Insert Zelda Triforce.
The notion that we can't. And then floating around there as well is the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
Like, if that's true, why haven't they made contact with us yet?
I bet they've been making contact with us that one way for a long time.
Fermi says that his thought was that because we haven't made contact with them yet, the reason why is because every civilization rises up to its pinnacle, it gets to the point where it can communicate with others, and then falls under its own fucking weight.
I wonder, too, if, I don't know, if I am to believe that there is all this out there, I also, in my head, say that it's been out there for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And that everything that they talked about in the old religions, about angels and all that demons, it makes sense to me that they would be what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Not actual people with robes with wings, but people that had the power of flight, and they didn't have the ability
to describe, like...
Yeah, through painting or through story.
Like they were floating in air.
Right. Wheel within a wheel. There's some of the best descriptions of UFOs come from the Bible. Wheel of fire, wheel within a wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can see that.
It's also the interdimensional factor with the DMT, the burning ayahuasca bush.
Yeah.
You know, tripping his balls off.
We talked about in the last episode, being able to perceive things that we otherwise could not perceive without those aids.
Yeah. And then shortly after we did that last episode on demonic possession, I found a video on, what's that channel? The Scariest Movie Ever on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it's called The Scariest Movie Ever as a channel name. And it was like... I think the title was They Are Legion and They Are Among Us or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was talking about all these different news reports about people being on these drugs, fentanyl and flocka and all that other crazy shit. Meth.
And doing the same things.
Yeah, doing the same shit. And it ties into like the story of Jesus getting off the boat and that guy who was possessed with demons who had gone for a long time without wearing clothes and had taken to sleeping in tombs.
Yeah.
And then when Christ had... made contact with him. He asked him what his name was. He said, "We are Legion.
Yeah.
We are greater than the stars." And it's like a modern day. You're seeing it on the streets. These people getting naked and like self-harming and trying to harm others. Just a neat little... I thought it was cool that we just did an episode on demonic possession and then, you know, here he is.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Here you go.
We're all touching the same invisible string, you know?
If you want to read more about stuff like this... definitely go check out William Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse.
Such a good book.
Amazing book.
We'll
probably do another episode on.
We need to at least do the breakdowns like we talked about.
Yeah.
Get some chapters read and stuff.
Yeah. But I think that about wraps it up for the show.
Yes. We're glad to be back. We're glad you're back.
Yeah. We hope you have a good week. If you're feeling froggy, go check us out on Patreon.
Patreon.com/bonesandtubs.
Check us out on Instagram.
Instagram.com/bonesandtubs.
If you still use Facebook, check us out on there.
Same name.
And we also have a Twitter.
Bones Tubs. It's different.
Or you could just check out, if you want to send us an email.
bonesandtubs@gmail.
There you go.
My favorite thing to ask you to do right now would be to share the Bones and Tubs podcast with one of your friends this week.
Yeah.
Let them know about it.
Somebody you think can handle it.
Somebody you're like, oh man, let's share the woke.
Yeah. Share the woke.
Let's start a conversation.
Yeah. Let's start the 5D.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
We hope you had a good time. We hope to see you next week. And between now and then, be safe and happy.
We love you.
We really do.
Hey, for the next 2 minutes and 25 seconds, I need you to take in every single word I say. This is no government. Stacks. I prayed to God one time, but he didn't talk back. Took the words that I was praying and I put them in raps. Writing scriptures with these words that shit a biblical pack. That's man-made, like the Bible I was reading in class. They told me stories about the dude, they said that nigga was white. I did my research, found out that shit wasn't right. And now I'm searching for the truth along with meaning of life. Perpetuating on the darkness while I'm shedding the light. There's no government. Is this a reward or a punishment? Section 8 housing, who's funding it? Democratic nigga or Republican? That shit don't even matter, cause the winners never even really run running it. How's the country functioning? TSA lines with a gun in it. I pray to touchdown, we ain't punting it. Make us choose sides, who you fucking with. Shit attract me, then we about to see who you really running with. It's that! Choose, you with the people or the evil, divided or the equal, beginning or the sequel, illegal or the legal, the truth or the deceitful, the war or the peaceful, with the calm or the lethal. All gas, this is diesel, I be spitting the truth. Manifested education from the time of my youth. Graduated from the basement, I was living the proof. Molesting beats like a reverend when he stepped into school. The government, man-made and self-paid, land of the free, but the home to many slaves. Healthcare for free? Nah, nigga, we second grade. Then watch how people die when the bills go unpaid. It's concave, not in good hands, no all state. Make us great again, that nigga threw that ball fake. Now the shit in shambles, what the fuck do they all say? Kick that nigga out, you been saying that all day. I heard the country at a raw spelled backwards. Maybe it's a lie and they pay for Google AdWords. Pick the word division, man, that's gotta be the password. Divided demographic deviated by our cash worth. They got the country face down, they gon' hit the ass first. No kind of beating up the country till her ass hurt. Maybe they should ask her, instead of trying to pass her, how to fix a problem and not kill the bitch faster. Listen, no government is soon to cause suffering. I wrote this rap to double up the coverage. This shit ain't McDonald's, you can't feed me all this bullshit then expect me to start screaming that I'm really fucking loving it. Cause if no one is governing while poverty is hovering, it's sure to cause a war within the country, I ain't stuttering. I'll give this shit a couple months before people get to shooting. I'll stay loaded like a downloaded movie, stay buffering. It's that! There's no government. No government. There's no government.
All right. You're free to go.